I hate when people talk during the movie.
This was inevitable. Out of all of the movies we have referenced on this podcast over our 61 episodes, which one do you think has inexplicably come up the most?
Batman and Robin.
You talk about it as if it's one of your favorite movies, JD.
It's one of my favorite bad movies.
We did a whole episode about Batman. That was in our first year. And the reason we're doing this commentary episode, yes, it's a commentary, I'm sorry. We do these because we want to catch up for the episode we missed in January. So we're going to talk over Batman and Robin for the next 2 hours and 7 minutes, I think is how long it is. I really want this commentary to be more than just us quoting dialogue.
You mean like, we killed the dinosaurs, the Ice Age!
Exactly like that. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's bring some insight into what is easily the most maligned of all the Batman films, still to this day. Batman and Robin is still the whipping boy of comic book fandom.
It almost killed the movie franchise.
You could say it put Batman back in the cooler.
Put Batman back in the cooler.
For a couple of years, yeah. I'm sorry, guys. This is gonna suck. Alright, I'm pressing play now. For those watching along at home, there's the Warner Brothers logo. Warner Home Video. And we're not watching this on Blu-ray. This is on my crappy DVD copy.
I'm sorry, guys.
Please, no. It's one of those old DVDs that doesn't even...
You should do your Christopher Walken the whole time, even though he's not in this movie.
Yeah, he's not in this one.
But you should do your Christopher Walken, and I'll just yell stuff as Arnold.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Arnold.
This,
oh, wow, that's pretty cool. I forgot I did that.
Yeah, the ice logo at the beginning. Yeah, this isn't even on one of the later DVDs. This is one of the old DVDs that when you put it in, it goes directly to the movie. It doesn't bring you to a menu first. I know Schwarzenegger gets top billing in this.
Yeah, well, I think it was like the biggest name at this time.
Well, actually, no, this was kind of in the latter half of his career. He had had a couple of high-profile flops, and he wasn't quite the huge draw he was, but he hadn't gotten into politics yet. And Uma Thurman, this wasn't too long after Pulp Fiction. Reggie Silverstone was coming off of Clueless.
Yeah.
This was a hot cast at the time. I mean, you've always been a huge Batman fan. Were you anticipating this film greatly when it hit theaters?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I have seen every Batman film with the exception of the 1966 Batman film, of course, in theater.
So even the one that came out in 1989 when you were a year old? Oh, there's the butt shot, and there's the crotch to go with it.
Well, there was...
Butt, crotch.
One of the theaters around here, or the one that my grandmother took me to, or whatever.
Oh, it did a revival screening?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So...
Well, these suit-up sequences were a real big part of the Joel Schumacher Batman films.
Yeah, especially the zipper up the crack. For some reason.
Well, you know, if it isn't obvious, Joel Schumacher is a gay man, and he's very open about that. And he's been very open about how his Batman movies are... I believe the comment is, this is a 2-hour-long gay joke. Now, what are your thoughts on the bat nipples, JD?
I mean, I get why they upset people, but really, it doesn't bother me.
Really? The bat nipples don't bother you?
I mean... Sure, why are they there? You know? Like, there's no need for them to be there whatsoever. But, you know, I don't let it ruin the movie for me, you know? And there's a lot of people that it's like, oh man, bat nipples, I'm done.
Now it was on screen there for a minute, was the spinning orange motor inside of the Batmobile. What are your thoughts on that? That's another completely superfluous feature.
I mean, I like that.
Well, you know, if you listen to the behind-the-scenes commentaries on such, Schumacher says that the studio, Warner Brothers, wanted this film to be very toyetic, which means it was basically designed to sell toys. And in that context, the spinning orange motor inside of the Batmobile makes a lot of sense. Because it makes no sense from a practical perspective, but it looks really cool as a toy.
Yeah. I mean, it looks cool. And...
Batman quiz. Pop quiz. What's the name of Robin's bike?
Oh, shit. Bird cycle? No, something bird, damn it. What is it?
It's the Red Bird.
Thank you. Damn.
Now, this was Michael Goff's last film as Alfred. I always liked him. He was a good Alfred.
Yeah.
And then this is, I believe, Pat Hingle as Commissioner Gordon. His roles... He never really had a big role in the Burton-verse, and in the latter two films, his his participation really went down. I mean, I don't think he does anything of interest in this film at all.
No, I don't think he does. He's not in Returns at all.
I think he has a small role. I haven't seen the movie in a while, but...
No, he doesn't. He's not in it at all.
Now, an odd thing about this film, obviously Schumacher was not influenced by the dark and gritty comics of the 80s, and instead was trying to recreate the atmosphere of the 66 series. That's
Yeah, you
very
can really
obvious.
tell that by like the tilted angle of the camera.
Yeah, there are quite a bit Dutch angles in this film. But the weird thing about this movie is it still does some things that are sort of serious. Wait, we must have missed Arnold's first one-liner there. They have the Iceman cometh.
To your pleas of mercy.
Yep. Straight up murders that dude.
Let's see if this was Mortal Kombat. He would take and front kick that guy.
Break the shatter.
So they shatter.
Bloody pieces. But a weird thing is, this movie still takes some stuff from the Batman the Animated Series version of Mr. Freeze, which is the well-known version.
Right.
Where he's this tragic character who's motivated by the loss of his wife. And it makes for a really weird contrast. Now, at the time, as a kid, were you bothered by the casting of Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze?
Well, you see, when I was a kid...
You didn't worry about that sort of thing?
Well, that, but I was also kind of a big Schwarzenegger fan.
Well, we still are.
But I mean, like, it was bad. Like, he was the one actor that I, like, knew.
Well, yeah, because, you know, we're going to be talking about Arnold a lot this year. We've already referenced this on an episode last month, and this is sort of a precursor to an episode we're doing next month. Now, where the fuck did it leap through the Robin's bike just went for a wall.
And also has anti-gravity powers.
Yeah, there's no ramp or anything.
And, like, how did that gun just nestle up there?
Well, look at the way he swung off that pole. He was, like, sliding at an angle through the air. Now, even as a kid, when I saw this movie for the first time, I thought Mr. Freeze's icy-themed henchman... Icy-themed... I thought Mr. Freeze's hockey-themed henchman was embarrassing. I remember watching this as a kid thinking, like, this is like fucking Power Rangers.
Yeah, but every bad guy's gotta have his henchmen.
Now, if they were to make a new Batman movie with Mr. Freeze, who would you like to see cast in the part?
Oh, I haven't thought of that.
Vin Diesel?
No. No, I'm going to try and take a serious approach at this.
For a long time, I thought Peter Weller would have made a great Mr. Freeze, but he's probably too old now.
Well, you know, he would never do it.
Yeah, not after, because he hated being in the RoboCop suit.
No, I'm not talking about him.
Okay.
My choice.
Okay.
He would never do it, but I'd almost like to see Kevin Spacey do it.
Kevin Spacey as Mr. Freeze, I could see that potentially working, though. Maybe he was soiled on comic book adaptations by Superman Returns.
I mean...
Okay, let's talk about the bat skates.
Okay, well...
Where the hell did those come from? They click their heels together, and how did they know they would need them? I mean, I knew he was going to fight Mr. Freeze, but he had already put his suit on when they got the call.
But Batman is always prepared for everything, Zach.
I guess, but
and
just logistically, where did the skates come from?
Well, you see, my theory is that Batman developed a type of magnet and a type of liquid metal. And when he taps the boots, the magnet causes the
liquid metal to solidify?
The liquid metal to pour out and solidify into the shape of a skate.
Wow, you've really thought about this.
No, not really, because I tell you what, I was watching Batman Begins.
Oh, Christ, I just noticed. The space in the wall where Robin drew... it left the symbol. The Robin symbol.
Oh, is it Robin symbol?
It is the Robin symbol, yeah. Now, I believe I referenced this when we did our Batman episode. Oh, wait, there's the best one-liner in the movie.
We're kill the dinosaurs!
The Ice Age!
The Ice Age!
Which isn't true at all, but... You know, a meteorite probably killed the dinosaurs. We still don't know for certain. Anyway, as I was saying, I prefer this movie to Batman Forever, and I know that's sacrilege to the hardcore Batheads, which is a term I just made up for Batman fans.
Well, I don't like it.
You know, because, like, Batman Forever was this awkward compromise between the more gothic approach of the Burton films and the more goofy Dayglow approach of the Schumacher films, and I really feel like that was a detriment to that movie. And also, I hated Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. I just thought his performance was so annoying. And this movie, it's all Schumacher. It's all day-glow, goofy, campy, comic book ridiculousness, like what's happening on the screen right now with Robin pole vaulting.
With his ass showing.
Yeah, there's... I reviewed this movie last year. Because when I was doing my Tim Burton director's retrospective, I decided to throw in the latter two Batman sequels as well. And I remember saying in my review, the homoerotic subtext in this film is barely sub. It's basically just text. And we'll discuss that in more detail, about how flamingly gay this film is. And I don't mean that as a detriment. Don't mistake that for homophobia. It's just, I'm not sure gay subtext this blatant has any business being in a Batman movie. Batman's not a gay character, despite all the snickering jokes about it. It's just a really strange decision. Man, the wire work in this is terrible. People just leap through the air like they're not even human.
Well, you know, it's the fourth movie, Zach.
As a kid, I was disappointed they didn't make a fifth one, though. I really, in my brain, it was going to be called the Bat Trio. Because by the end of this film, you have Batman, Robin, and Batgirl. And I really wanted to see the Scarecrow as the villain. Now, at the time, I didn't know this, but there was, of course, plans for a fifth film where the Scarecrow indeed would have been the villain, and played by anybody from Howard Stern to Nick Cage to Steve Buscemi. All those names were thrown around.
Ooh, Steve Buscemi would have been a great Scarecrow.
He would have. And, of course, in the same casting, there was talks of Harley Quinn being in the film, played by Madonna.
I hate that.
And in this film, Madonna. In this film, Harley Quinn would have been the Joker's daughter, and Nicholson would have come back in flashbacks. It was going to be called Batman Triumphant. It was reportedly going to be a darker film than this one. Obviously, it didn't get made because this movie was received.
Well, they had to have a girl character for Batgirl to beat up on.
Yeah, and Harley Quinn, though not as nearly as popular as she is now, was still pretty well established at that point. I always. Arnold goes for it. Ha! Freeze well, Batman. Now, I always was curious about the butterfly wings here. Out of all of the things, all the wings that could have come out of Mr. Freeze's suit, why ones that were so blatantly insectoid?
I don't know, man. Just go with it.
Well, like anything in this movie...
Well, because he's wearing an exoskeleton.
Okay. All right. Like anything in this movie, it was made because it would make a cool toy. And I remember that they did indeed make a toy of that. Batman's pretty bitchy to Robin in this.
Well, you know, it's been a while since he got laid.
Oh, well, I don't know.
And he's on his man period.
Most people don't remember this, but Batman does have a love interest in this film. And I don't blame you for forgetting about her. She's only in 2 scenes.
No, she's like his fiancée almost, isn't she?
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. She's got like dark hair. But
yeah, it's Elle McPherson's character.
But that doesn't mean he got laid. Maybe he didn't buy her a new diamond ring yesterday.
Are we going to spend this whole podcast talking about the sex life of Batman? What do you think of this, the surfing sequence, the air surfing sequence?
My thing is it's not needed. Because all they had to do was dive out and then, you know, spread their cape wings and glide.
Well, he never did any gliding in this series of films.
Yes, he did.
Oh, well, he did in part 2, but that was more like a jetpack he had on.
No, it wasn't a jetpack.
Oh my god. Alright, this is the other thing we're going to spend the whole podcast talking about.
Fuck with me.
Arguing about the
I know my Batman movies,
continuity
bitch.
of the Batman series. Now, what are your thoughts overall on this version of Robin? He's pretty terrible, right? I mean, he's annoying. It's not as bad in this film. In Batman Forever, he's really obnoxious. But...
yeah. Ugh. Oh, hold on. Mr. Freeze will do the Godzilla ray to the ground.
It's the reverse of what Godzilla does. He's not flying. He's using it to
okay, but you
slow
get the
his
point.
plummet. And I don't know if that would work. That's definitely the least scientifically accurate thing about this scene.
Oh god, scientifically accurate Batman. I'm waiting for that one. I'm waiting for that one. ADHD.
Yeah, that's a reference to another YouTube channel that's much more popular than ours. But anyway, so let's getting back to Chris O'Donnell's Robin. What are your thoughts on him in general?
I think he's too old to play a youthful ward.
Yeah, well, in this version, they didn't go with that. Instead, he's like a sexy motorcycle punk, at least in the previous movie. He's more mellowed in this one.
Well, I almost wish that they would have just, instead of calling him Robin, just called him Nightwing.
That's basically what he is.
I mean, I know, but that bugs me enough.
Yeah. Now, what do you think of the costume?
I don't hate the costume, but I don't like it either.
It's very different. I mean, I know in Forever they have him in the traditional yellow, green, red tights during the circus sequence. But even as a kid, I remember watching this and thinking, it doesn't really look like Robin. Now, do you think the original plan of having a teenage Marlon Wayans as Robin and Batman Returns would have been better?
No.
I'll kill you next time! And did we apologize for the awful Schwarzenegger impersonations that will make up the majority of this commentary? Because
I think you did. But you did now.
He was waving.
Yeah.
I know Arnold is not a perfect human being, and his public controversies are well known, but I just find the guy immensely charming, and we'll talk about him in more detail on an upcoming episode. Just pre-warn. If you have no stomach for Schwarzenegger.
Pretty sure this wouldn't work.
Yeah, I often wonder why putting him in the water and then heating it up, why that would make it... Because it's already frozen, so putting him in icy water, wouldn't that make it worse? And then he heats it up with the bat laser.
Well, I think it's so he could thaw it more slowly. But
the point is, Robin should have been dead. Okay, here we are introducing our second of 3 villains in this film. Now, obviously Schwarzenegger as Freeze got a lot of shit at the time, because he's Arnold, he's doing his thing. And I actually think Arnold is a better actor than he gets credit for. The question is, is a good actor somebody who can play any type of character? In that case, no, Arnold isn't a good actor. If a good actor is somebody who is exceedingly aware of their range and very good of playing types within that range, I would make the case that Arnold is indeed a good actor.
I don't know if he's good or bad. I just know he's entertaining as hell.
That is also very true. Now, the second villain of this film. Why Arnold's performance was very heavily criticized at the time, mostly just because he was Schwarzenegger. Uma Thurman's performance was also very heavily criticized because she's doing this weird Mae West impersonation as Poison Ivy, which is a strange thing to do with the character.
Right, but I don't think I hate it as much as a lot of people. I mean, is it the Poison Ivy I wanted? No.
I'm not even sure I would cast Thurman as that Poison Ivy, because though she's a great actress, at least in Tarantino films, and I'm a big fan of her, my dog's named after her, at the same time, I just don't really see her as Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy should be more voluptuous.
Right.
And if you're casting the character in when was this made? 95 or 96?
97, wasn't it?
Okay. Hey, we met that guy. The pre-Bane Bane. That's the same actor who played the Mummy in the Monster Squad, and we met him at the convention last fall.
Oh, yeah, that's right, we did.
That Q&A is on our episode. Now, although people were very criticizing of the versions of Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy in this film, I think the character who really gets it the worst is Bane. Because the whole point of Bane in the comics is that he was an intellectual and physical equal of Batman, and in this he is quite literally dumb muscle.
Yeah. They did it more so that Poison Ivy didn't have to get physical.
Yeah.
And that just tells me that they didn't know how to write the character.
Well, I don't think they cared. I love how the Venom canister is marked clearly as Venom. And I also love, it was briefly seen there a minute, the Legion of Doom, the League of Global Villains that are there bidding on the creation of these super soldiers. Now, this character, played by John Glover, no relation to Crispin and or Danny. In the comics, this character becomes a villain called the Floronic Man, who's actually a Swamp Thing villain.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, he also played Lionel Luthor in Smallville.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff. He was on I remember him from a very short-lived TV show called Brimstone, where he played the devil. And he's pretty over the top in this. Funny story here. When this movie was coming out, I said to Mom, my mother, this was 97, I was probably like 7 or 8 years old. I said to Mom, why is Bane called Bane? And she said, no, his name is Vein, because he's covered in all these veins. And even as a kid, I knew she was wrong, but I didn't push it.
Well, yeah.
You know, and now, of course, I'm aware that Bane is a word that means, you know, a very nasty thing.
Means, you know, the hindrance. He's a hindrance.
Yeah, he's an adversary. Now, I think it's well known that the actor, who's actually a pro wrestler, who played the muscled-up Bane, passed away not long after this film was made. People who are always on those diets and, let's say, medication to increase their physique frequently have health problems, you know. It's not uncommon. Sad story.
And who played him?
Not a clue. I don't know the guy's name. That was very Frankenstein-esque, the way he came off the table and was throwing people around. And also, why are they hanging out in, like, this dingy, gothic, greenhouse of doom?
I don't know.
I think that's a holdover from the Tim Burton films, where all the architecture is very exaggerated. And it's true in these films as well, and it's exaggerated in the opposite direction. You know, people come down hard on the Burton films these days because they see them as too campy, even though at the time they were the opposite of camp.
Right.
And I feel like, I honestly, though I do enjoy 2 of the 3 Chris Nolan films, and again, go back to our Batman episode to listen, you know, big fan of Batman Begins. I liked Rises when I saw it in the theater. I haven't seen it since. And I have a lot of opinions about Dark Knight that we won't get into. But I feel like the Burton films really they have the balance down better to me for what Batman is. Because Batman in the comics isn't realistic. He's hanging out with Superman. He's fighting a guy who can turn into clay or a crocodile man, you know? He doesn't need to be hyper-realistic. And I feel like the Burton films, where it is this sort of the Burton films are obviously really influenced by classic horror. And I like that. So that's a reason I like those films. Especially, you know, German expressionistic movies. All this is well known. I don't need to go into it. Ironically, in the Burton films, Gotham City looks more like Metropolis from the movie Metropolis.
Yeah, I could agree with that. But, you know... Sorry, I really like this over-the-top thing he does here.
Oh, it's super over-the-top. And also, if you're going to kill somebody, is that the most practical way to do it? To murder them when there's like 50 people in the room over there?
Yeah, but they're not going to...
Because they're all global, evil people.
What are they going to do? Call it and be like, yeah...
This is Arnold's, or I'd say Arnold, this is Mr. Free's origin story here. Also, why is he standing so precariously over his vat of freezing agent? It's almost as if a lot of things about this movie doesn't make any sense. I love the shot of him stumbling out of the ice. He looks a lot like, in that shot, he looks a lot like Tombstone from Spider-Man. There's referencing one comic book thing with another comic book thing. Now, did you know that if Schumacher's plan was if Arnold turned down the role of Mr. Freeze, he was going to offer it to Stallone? That would have been terrible.
Yeah, that would have been way worse.
Now, my love of Stallone is nearly equal to my love of Arnold, but I just can't imagine Stallone in the ice suit. Hey, we killed the dinosaurs. The ice age, you know. That would have been bad.
Well, I think the writer said, wait. We're getting Arnold Schwarzenegger? Oh, I've got to write this. He's got to say this.
Written by Academy Award-winning screenwriter Akiva Goldman. Seriously, he won an Oscar for A Beautiful Mind.
Wasn't that after this movie?
It was. He wasn't an Academy Award winner when he wrote this, but... Now, one of the things I think listen to me, this is why I have to edit the show too much, because I get so excited when I'm talking that my words all run together, and I sound like a mutant dwarf donkey hybrid. One of the things I think about this... Okay, I'm going to try one more time, guys. See? This is why it takes me 2 weeks to get an episode out. One of the things about this movie that I think works genuinely, and not just in a funny, campy way, is the relationship between Bruce and Alfred.
Yeah, I can see that. I agree with that.
It's sort of touching, because Alfred is, of course, Bruce Wayne's father figure, essentially.
Now, one thing this movie does that irritates me.
Okay.
And it irritates me with every Batman movie.
Okay.
You know... I excuse Batman Begins and Batman because they're the first in their respected series.
Right.
But, you know, the whole revisiting the origin story thing just really irks me.
Every movie has to go over the fact that Bruce Wayne's parents are dead.
Yes. And like, see, like right here, we're having a flashback.
It sort of feels to me like how right now they're talking about rebooting Spider-Man again, and it's like I think they have said.
Yeah, but now Marvel's going to have a big hand in that.
Yeah,
so.
but let's not get too far off topic. But like we all know the origin story for Spider-Man, we all know the origin story for Batman, we all know the origin story for Superman. We don't need it reestablished. You know, we know that Bruce Wayne's parents are dead. We know that Superman's from Krypton. We know Spider-Man got bitten by a radioactive spider, etc., so on and so forth. I mean, if it was a character that the majority of people aren't familiar with, as Iron Man was when that first movie came out, that makes a lot of sense to me, but...
And if you're going to do the origin story, do it well. You know, don't...
I feel like the Marvel Incredible Hulk, which is a heavily criticized film that I enjoy, I feel like it really got it right, where it covers the origin story in the opening credits.
Yeah.
I wish more movies would do that. Now, so Uma, is she sexy in this?
There are... Not sure. You know, I'm not even going to deny it. Sure.
You know, the weird Mae West accent puts me off, but some of the outfits they put her in here are pretty tight and revealing, so I can't complain too much. Now, let me talk a little bit about the homoerotic subtext of this film. Okay, so Poison Ivy is one of the main villains in this film. What's Poison Ivy's whole deal? She's a femme fatale. She is a woman who is murderous and uses her sexuality as a weapon. This character does it rather literally. Her lips are poison.
Well, I think that's actually isn't that actually one of her, like, staples, is that she has, like, poison lips or something?
Sure, in the comics. But the point I was making is, in this movie, Batman and Robin have to overcome their sexual desire to Poison Ivy in order to beat her. Heteronormative attraction is the real villain in this movie, JD.
I'm just not even going to dignify that with an answer. What does piss me off about, you know, okay, the Mae West thing, yeah, that gets annoying.
It's just a weird choice.
You know, but, you know, I really like the costumes that they give her in this movie.
Some of them are better than others.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's just, you know, they really find a way to make that work without it being totally ridiculous.
And this was a really contrived thing they just did here. She picks up a vial that has Wayne Enterprises written on it. And like, oh, let's go check out Wayne Enterprise. If we weren't talking over this movie, it might make more sense. But okay, wait, everybody shut the fuck up. Because here comes the Snow Miser scene. I'm Mr. Snow. And the fucking polar bear slippers. He's got a robe on.
They're like, man, we gotta get Arnold.
They went for it. They said, what's all the stupid shit we can do? And they're all freezing. And his hideout is in a frozen food factory.
Yes. And they're eating frozen dinners.
Yeah, I know. And they're still frozen. Oh god, and Vivica A. Fox in this movie as Miss Behaven.
Yep.
How is she not freezing her ass off? She's like in lingerie.
Hold on. See, I feel like that was only half a line.
It still doesn't make any sense. She doesn't have genetically modified body control. She's just a normal woman in lingerie and a freezer putting the moves on Mr. Freeze. And what is her purpose in the Mr. Freeze crime family? Because everybody knows he doesn't have any interest sexually in any woman besides his wife. So what? Is she there to entertain the other henchmen? Because
sure.
That's a little weird. She seems only interested in Mr. Freeze. So what is Miss Behaven's role in the Batman canon?
Well, she probably causes a ruckus because, you know.
She's misbehaving. Oh,
she's
man.
misbehaving.
A genuinely misbegotten thing about this film. Because the rest of it was so well begotten.
But anyhow, back to my gripe about Poison Ivy.
My demands.
What irks me is that they give her Bane so that she doesn't have to get physical.
Right.
But, you know, Poison Ivy doesn't need to get physical to be a threat to Batman and Robin.
Right, because she overwhelms her thinking brain by just being so damn sexy.
Well, she uses the pheromones and shit like that, but she also has, killer plants and shit.
Well, that is used briefly in the film. At one point, she tangles up Batman and Robin in vines.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that scene.
They don't really use her plant manipulation powers to their fullest potential, no. And I always thought Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy teaming up was a really weird idea, because he's all cold, and she's about plants. I mean, they try to make that contrast work, but it doesn't really. It was an awkward team-up.
Yeah.
Now, do you think this movie would have been better if it had just focused on one of the two villains instead of both of them?
Yeah.
Okay. So Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl, as Barbara Pennyworth.
I really like her in the outfit.
And it was so cruel and mean at the time. A lot of people criticized Alicia Silverstone because they thought she had put on some weight. And watching it now, that's absolutely absurd. I mean, and I'm not one of these big, don't fat shame, I don't think it's cool to make fun of fat people, but at the same time, it's a complicated issue that I won't go into now. But to say that she's overweight in this film is preposterous.
I mean, I think she's gorgeous.
I guess it was just because it was the 90s and the super skinny heroin chic thing was in. But does she give a good performance? The answer to that question is no. She's terrible. She's tone deaf. She's totally out of her element.
I mean, I don't think she's horrible. I think there's worse performances like Chris O'Donnell.
And one of the things about, and it's not just this movie, it's really all of Batman fiction, but nobody's supposed to know who Bruce Wayne. Nobody's supposed to know that Batman is Bruce Wayne, and yet in both of these movies, people stumble into his lair. It's way worse in Forever, where Robin really, rather literally, stumbles into his lair. He's like doing a zip line in Wayne Manor and goes for the wall.
Well, he watches Al until he gets his chance, and then he makes his move, and he jumps to the chandelier and drops down and spins around.
It was silly.
And it's like, okay, so you mean to tell me that door didn't have enough time to shut by the time he got all that done? And then, in that movie, when he does the laundry and he takes
the kung fu laundry folding, that was bad. Now, what do you think of the decision to make Barbara Alfred's niece instead of Commissioner Gordon's daughter?
Well, it irritates me that they changed the background. However, I tend to overlook it because how else were they going to make her work in the movie?
Yeah, because Gordon has.
What were they going to do? Kill off another parent?
Yeah, Commissioner Gordon has such a small role in these films that it maybe made more sense. But I feel like Batgirl is the most superfluous element of this film. She adds the least to it.
Well, she adds the TNA. The much-needed TNA to this movie.
I just feel like her story contribution is the least important. You could have cut her out of the film, and it wouldn't really have affected the plot that much. Because there's so many characters in this movie. There's Batman and Robin, there's Alfred, there's Mr. Freeze, there's Poison Ivy, there's Bane, there's Batgirl, there's Bruce Wayne's fiance, who is completely unimportant. There's a lot of background and storylines being put into this film, and that's a big problem with it. I feel like the writing is really not that swell. But at this point, I don't even know how much of it was Joel Schumacher's fault. He was the whipping boy for years. And I feel like these days people are more fair to him because they realized he was having a lot of interference from the studio saying you have to put this in the movie, you have to include this character so we can make a toy of it.
Right, and I'm sure that's what happened with Batgirl. Is that they were saying, hey, put this character in the movie so we can make a toy.
I'm sure, but
what upsets me is that they didn't have as much fun with it as they could have.
There's only so much you can put into a movie, even one that's over 2 hours long like this is.
Well, yeah, but I meant, even with, the outfit. Why didn't they go for the full 66? I mean, they've introduced color into the batsuits at this point in time. Why couldn't we have a purple batsuit?
I don't think we'll ever have a purple batsuit in a feature film. I think Batman and all related characters will always be predominantly black, even though in the comics, currently, Batgirl is wearing a predominantly purple outfit. And that costume's very popular, but even then I don't think, especially not with Zack Snyder leading the DC Cinematic Universe, his dark and gritty aesthetic to everything. I mean, like, that shot right there where she's in the tight jeans going down the rope. I'm just saying, Alicia Silverstone is sure as hell not fat in this. And critics at the time were being really needlessly cruel. And that's speaking as somebody who is genuinely fat.
Right, I'm definitely fat, and I just don't see how...
Damn, Bruce Wayne's got a lot of cars.
He's a billionaire.
Now, what's with the Herculean statues all around Gotham City? When did that become the city's main design?
When a gay guy started making the movies.
Well, there's even a little bit of it in the Burton films, though. I know a certain part of it is a Gothic approach, but it is just sort of weird that there are these muscle men statues all around. I love Bane in the hat and the gloves.
He's not wearing gloves, those are his hands.
I just love that they put him in the fucking hat. That's so ridiculous. And here's some more weird Grecian architecture. I don't know.
I don't know why they did it.
It's a weird place to put a not a satellite, a telescope. Now, something I've always wondered about Batman. What does Wayne Enterprise do? They invest in ideas, but how do they make money?
Because the ideas that they invest in make money. Because you see, when you invest in a company,
Yeah, thank you for explaining that to me, JD. But
you sign on for a certain percentage of
but
whatever
you never
profit
see
that idea...
them making anything, though. The exact specifics of the Wayne Enterprise business model have always struck me as very obscure. You never really understand. And of course, there's the whole big deal. If Bruce Wayne really wants to stop crime in Gotham, why doesn't he use his millions of dollars to invest in social reform programs that will cut down on crime? Of course, the answer to that question is Bruce Wayne is crazy. He doesn't care. He's psychologically compelled to dress up as a bat and punch people.
He's more effective.
It's more satisfying. I don't think it's more effective. Yeah, here's Elle Macpherson's character, Bruce Wayne's fiance, who contributes nothing to the plot. You can see how miserable George Clooney is in this scene. What are your thoughts on Clooney as Batman?
He's better than Kilmer.
Agreed. And the thing with George Clooney is, in a better Batman film, a quote-unquote better Batman film, he probably would have been pretty good in the part. I mean, he's got the looks, he's got the chin, he's got the playboy debonair attitude. I don't really know if he can beat people up like he can as Batman, but...
And, he, I like that they grayed him up. Like let him have some gray hair.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I know that that's pretty much probably how George Clooney looked at the time.
Yeah.
But, I like the fact that they didn't dye his hair to make him look younger. Yeah. Like, they decided to keep him at an age...
That was his trademark at the time. Women loved the little bit of salt in his pepper. Is it... Now, because of my particular taste, I actually think Uma's a little more attractive in this get-up, in the dowdy scientist get-up. Because I'm weird, and that does it for me. Whatever, don't judge me, Internet. Silence. Awkward.
Don't know what to say to that.
The turtleneck? The turtleneck doesn't do it for you?
No.
Alright, well, whatever. That's your opinion. And the thing with Uma Thurman is, obviously, she's a capable actress. She's given some fantastic performances. But, she's also given a lot of very bad performances. And she doesn't seem to have a very good choice of projects. I always go back to that. I think the movie was called Motherhood. She did it not long after Kill Bill was filmed, and it sat on the shelves for years. And when it comes out, it was just a super terrible, crappy direct-to-video comedy. It's wacky baby love. And I just don't know how she could go from a really good film like Kill Bill, at least I think it's a really good film, to something like that. I just think she picks really lousy projects. And occasionally she gives a great performance in a movie like Pulp Fiction.
I think she's one of those actresses that needs a good director.
I think it's so, too, because just last year she did a film called Nymphomaniac, the Lars Van Trier's movie, and her role's very small, but she's incredible in it. She gives this truly impassionate, disturbing performance when she shows the children the whoring bed. And... okay, this is an important scene. I'm going to open the episode with this soundbite. We're very fortunate to have an Alamo Drafthouse in our local area. It's a really cool theater chain. I'm sure most of you have heard of it. And for a long, long time, their pre-don't talk disclaimer was this very scene, where the guy runs up to Schwarzenegger, freezes him, and he says, "I hate when people talk during the movie." Now, this is one of the scenes I was talking about where there's this odd mixture of the campy silliness and its attempt to do something sincere, where Mr. Freeze is watching his wedding video, and he cries a single tear, which freezes on his cheek and turns into a snowflake. Like, if the rest of the movie wasn't so ridiculously goofy, a moment like that could be maybe genuinely effective.
I can agree with that.
Maybe with a different actor in the part, and we obviously love Arnold, but emoting is not necessarily his strong suit. You watch Arnold to have him see him. You watch an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie to see him kill 100 soldiers of vague ethnicity, not to act. Now, what the fuck is going on in this scene? This is some weird tribal jungle dance sequence, and I believe there are gorilla costumes. I believe they are fuchsia gorilla costumes, yes?
Don't know.
Is this just what life is like in Gotham City? When your national hero is a man in a bat costume? Does shit just get crazy?
I think so. Have I ever told you my theory about how these 4 films each take place in a different season?
I think there's something to that, yeah.
Because, like, the first Batman movie is...
there's really no definite clarification when it takes place. Obviously, Returns takes place at Christmas time.
Yeah. And...
the environment definitely seems to be warmer in Forever, so that could be summer, I suppose.
And I know that a large portion of Forever is spring.
Okay. So what, this is the summer movie? Does that make the original Batman an autumn film?
Yeah, because there's that scene where he's driving the Batmobile in the woods and there's leaves on the ground.
Well, in the Burton films, it's always autumn or winter in Gotham City. Okay, they're not fuchsia, excuse me, they're pink and purple. But I definitely remember those fucking gorilla costumes. And this is a very Batman 66 thing. Batman and Robin in costume, hanging out at a social function.
Yeah, I think that's why I like this movie a little more than most people.
Well, because you will have such a great affection for that 66 series, which is great. Our love for the Batman 66 universe is well established. But the sexy dance in the gorilla costume, yeah, let's talk about that. Just, who greenlit that idea?
I mean... well, because this is really Poison Ivy's reveal.
But why a pink gorilla suit? And don't say because a gay man directed the movie, okay?
Well, why else would it be?
If you're just trying to emphasize how sexy a character is, it seems like an odd thing to do. What about the red wig? Is that a good wig or a bad wig?
I kind of like it.
That's not a very effective mask if she's looking to hide her identity. And I always thought that was weird in general. Poison Ivy has never worn a mask.
I don't think it was meant to be a mask. I think it was just meant to be like
decoration?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not the most flattering outfit, but I don't know,
but
man.
That ass.
Yeah. I think Uma honestly looks pretty good in some of these outfits they put her in. Now, I'm telling you, man, this is the proof. The proof is in the pudding that this movie is about Batman and Robin overcoming their heterosexual attraction to Poison Ivy to save the day. Because what's happening right now, she just sprayed them with her pheromones, her love dust, and they have to overcome that in order to defeat her. I'm telling you, man.
So who would you choose to play Poison Ivy?
Christina Hendricks.
She's too old.
That's your opinion, man.
I mean, maybe now, because we have an older Batman, sure, but...
Hi there.
Poison ivy.
Bond. James Bond.
That's what I was thinking, too, since I've spent all month watching
Or Bond.
James Bond movies, yeah.
Bondage.
Yeah, well... Both Batman and James Bond are part of a long tradition of male heroes being tied up in various positions. And sometimes, definitely seems to be an erotic undertone there. But, you know, when I found out that there are gay men who are fans of comic books, of superhero comic books, because they like to see the muscular heroes tied up or just in various stages of undress, I was not shocked in the least. It actually made a lot of sense.
I'll include an evening of my company for the winner. I'll bring everything you see here.
And everything you don't.
God, very much a Mae West thing there, absolutely. Oh man, the Bat credit card's coming up soon, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Maybe we've just developed Stockholm Syndrome with this movie. I'm just seeing it so much that
I mean, I legitimately like this movie.
you don't have it, Robin. Yep, there it is!
And it says forever.
Yeah, how much do you... I guess there wasn't a company name on that card, was there? I guess there wasn't a product placement thing going on. Oh, here comes Mr. Freeze in the Herkimer Battle Jitney.
The Herkimer Battle Jitney?
That's a Mystery Men reference. Everyone chill. But it would have been better if they had reprised his line from Kindergarten Cop, where he says, "I'm the party pooper." I've been critical of really this entire universe. Has there ever been a Batman movie with really good fight scenes in it? Because this is ridiculous, of course. And even the Burton films are awkward, because they tried to play with Batman being this master martial artist, which of course he is. But in the Burton films, the suits were so constrictive that Michael Keaton could barely move, much less jump kick somebody. And I just felt like that was the wrong approach to go with that suit. It's really ridiculous watching him jump around doing flips and stuff. And of course in this movie it's just crazy and goofy. You have silly sound effects and characters swinging through the air on wires in a way that isn't even remotely possible. Plant Girl?
Garden Gal?
I kind of like Garden Gal. That one's not bad.
Yeah, but that's like a superhero name.
Yeah, Garden Gal would be a good guy. Again, this is just a weird pair of villains to team up. Who would have made more sense to team up with Mr. Freeze? I don't know, you know?
Gold Glider.
Honestly, this really should have been just a Mr. Freeze movie, I think. I don't think Poison Ivy adds too much to the plot.
Yeah, if they were going to do Poison Ivy,
Yeah.
they should have done Harley Quinn. It just seems like the natural choice.
I'm sorry, I had to laugh at that scene where Batman punches through the plate and says, what does it say, good night, I think he
Yeah.
said? Yeah.
What else was he going to say? Here's Batman.
Have a nice fall. Now, if you'll allow us to wander slightly off topic here, I really, really hope that Ben Affleck does not attempt to do a Bale voice when he's playing Batman
Oh,
in the...
God, I hope so. Or not that he I hope that he does not do that.
Yeah, because that was just got ridiculous really quickly in the Nolan films. For some reason, it worked okay in Begins, but when he's doing this in Dark Knight Rises, it's just really goofy. And was rightfully mocked. It was a bad decision.
So do you think that he's going to be able to move well in this batsuit that he's got going on?
I have no idea. All his action scenes will be CGI anyway. That's just the nature of the beast. This is a weird... Again, here's some more architecture of big naked men in the middle of the city. And it seems like an odd thing to build your city around, especially when you have these giant highway trusses going around an Apollo statue. Hey, it's the Humongous. It's a Mad Max reference there.
I caught that.
So where does one get a driver's license for a freeze van?
I don't think one needs a driver's license for a freeze van. Dude, do you remember how the Batmobile toy for this movie had the bat signal shaped missile that shot out the front of it?
I didn't have the toy, so no, I don't remember that. I remember the Batman and Forever Batmobile toy, which went from a car to the Batwing to the Batboat.
Yes, I had that one.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. There's some pretty shitty CGI in this scene.
Like right there?
Well, I wasn't even referring to that, like when they're driving down the statue. Redbird, disengage. Dick move, bats.
See what you did there. Because Dick Grayson.
Oh, I wasn't even doing that intentionally. Chris O'Donnell screaming towards the heavens. What the hell did they just crash into? What was that building? I wish we could freeze and go back. That one-liner didn't even make any sense. It's a cold town? Step it up, Arnold. You can do better than that.
Well, he didn't write the line. By the way, he didn't bring that Batmobile back in one piece, sir.
I always wonder, just what the fuck just happened there? Like, Batman leaps at Mr. Freeze. Next scene, it cuts to him tied up on the floor. Was it necessary to swish your cape dramatically, Bruce? Was it? Does the swishing help? And see, they're having a lover spat. Totally gay. They... See, they have to overcome their desire for a woman to save the day. Tell you, man, they're moes.
They just... If they would have lost the cape, that outfit would look 100 times better.
Which outfit?
The Robin outfit. But they would have just lost the cape.
Well, if you lose the cape, it's basically a Nightwing outfit, except with red instead of blue. In fact, I think his outfit is red these days. Well, actually, it isn't, because Nightwing is just Grayson now. That's comics. That's a whole other mess.
Well, yeah, but it was red there for a while.
Yeah.
Because of the New 52.
Man, check out that disc technology there. That was hot stuff.
You say what you want, but I always wanted that fucking CD player from Returns.
Oh, where he does the record scratch?
Yeah, but it had the bat symbol on it.
You just like it because it has the bat symbol
yeah, but
on
it's
it.
like, you know what? How come that wasn't made? You know, that just seems like a natural thing. Like, why didn't we get that?
So Batgirl hasn't been in a scene in a while. It's like the script intermediately forgets about her.
See, I like the wisdom that Alfred always injects into...
Well, yeah, that's Alfred's role. He's the sage. He's the wise mentor for Bruce. He's actually trying to get at some deep stuff here about mastering the chaos of the world, mastering the inevitability of death. I'm telling you, man, this movie is not all stupid.
Well, I never thought it was. Like I said, I legitimately like this movie. You know, I call it a bad movie because everybody else calls it a bad movie, but I really don't think it is.
It's a campy film, and if you mean bad by not serious and focused, then sure. And I feel like it does have some pretty major scripting issues and some bizarre acting decisions. But bad is a subjective term.
I mean, there's a lot of people that say this movie is just awful. Well, it's not awful.
It used to be the reigning champ for worst comic book film, but there have been some...
Like Daredevil?
I mean, I was thinking more of Elektra, truthfully. There have been some more questionable superhero movies made. The Halle Berry Catwoman, for example.
Oh, I think that is considered the worst one now.
Yeah, I think that's dethroned Batman and Robin.
I think that even dethroned Daredevil.
See, I'm not... I think the Daredevil isn't bad. Elektra was pretty inexcusable, though, but... Yeah, Catwoman is kind of the... glowing standard of shit.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Arkham Asylum. This has become an important part of the mythos. What's that tower's purpose? What's that tower do, movie? This big old tower over to the side.
That tower there?
Yeah, that tower. It's where they keep the really dangerous, crazy people that break out every week?
Yeah.
That's the thing. If Batman really wants to stop people getting murdered in Gotham City all the time, why not give some money to Arkham Asylum so that they can, I don't know, build a bigger wall around it so that the Joker can't escape every week? Just throwing that out there. Also, why would anybody move to Gotham knowing that there's a homicidal clown and other monsters and villains running around murdering hundreds of people every week? I'm just saying, I wouldn't move there. Allow me to break the ice. It's the chilling sound of your doom. I was always fascinated by this, the freezing beam of light he has to stay in. That had to have been like a budgetary decision, and we don't have money in the budget for a refrigerated room, so let's stick Arnold underneath with a blue light.
I think it was more like a security thing.
I just think a refrigerated prison cell would have been less silly, but then again, this whole movie is ridiculously silly.
But yeah, but that's the way it was in Mataz, remember?
I don't. He has like a 6-foot area to move around in.
Yeah, that's the way it was in Mataz. They had it...
I haven't seen that episode in a while, I guess. So how long does Mr. Freeze stay in prison in this? Like a half an hour?
Something like that.
Before he gets busted out? My love dust. That sounds like a euphemism.
I do like this little get-up she's got going on here.
Well, this is very similar to the traditional Poison Ivy Comics outfit with the leotard and the tights.
Well, I meant with the hooded cape.
Makes
her look very sage-like.
Okay, so what about the Dayglow neon paint gang?
90s.
They're raving as hard as they can. You know, and forever, the leader of the neon gang is played by Don the Dragon Wilson. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
No one cares about that but you.
Hey, we're a criminal gang. Let's be inconspicuous and paint our body with neon paint. Hello, yourself.
You look good enough to eat. That I am. Come and get me, if you can.
You know, honestly, if she would just drop that damn Mae West thing...
It's so bad.
But if she would just drop that... She'd actually be a halfway decent Poison Ivy.
Probably. Again, that was one of the questionable acting decisions I referred to earlier. And also the goofy cartoon sound effects. Probably could have done without those.
Why is the sun purple?
I'm shrugging my shoulders, listeners. I don't know.
Why is the water purple?
Because the whole room is purple, man. Go with it. I do like her line here, something like, it took God 7 days to create a perfect world. It'll take me 7 minutes. Okay, it's not even that clever, but that's not a bad line. That's a pretty decent one-liner there. And another thing that always disappointed me about this film, later on in the movie, you see Poison Ivy with her. It's like a Cobra plan. It's a Venus flytrap from hell. It's Audrey 2. I just wish the movie had done more of that. Like, I feel like if this was a solo Poison Ivy film, we would have gotten Batman fighting a giant Venus flytrap, which is something we all want to see. Bane is this monosyllabic Tarzan-esque goofball. Oh, hey, here's a scene to remind us that Bruce Wayne has a love interest in this movie. Besides Robin, I mean, which is obviously his primary love interest in this. Now, I'm relatively certain, and you have the Blu-ray, so you probably know for certain, that there was a bigger subplot involving this character. In fact, I think she gets murdered by Poison Ivy in a deleted scene, and obviously all that got cut, making these scenes of Bruce and his love interest, who has a name, I just don't know what it is, it makes these scenes even more superfluous than they would have been otherwise. Also, how did Poison Ivy get into the... Oh, wait, no, this is a fantasy. Boy, I'm really not paying attention to this. Symbolism, guys. It means she's still in his mind. Don't know if you caught that.
See, everybody, or every woman in this is doing like a play on a 60s.
That's just this movie. It's got this very exaggerated, campy style. Everybody is doing this goofy thing, except for George Clooney, who just seems miserable. You can actually see his soul leaving his body in a couple of scenes. Now, this is not really related, but I remember seeing Val Kilmer on Inside the Actors Studio, and James Lipton asked him, what was it like being in the Batsuit? And he said, oh, it was wonderful. It made me understand what it's like to be an old person, because you can't hear, you can't move, and you can't talk.
He could talk. He's just being a bitch.
In particular, an anecdote he had about he knocked over a glass of water, and it's as if everything was in slow motion, him reaching for this glass of water he couldn't get to in time before it fell. Val Kilmer, what happened to that guy?
Batman Forever?
Yeah, I don't know. It was that film and a couple other notable flops that... But I was really referring to him physically. It's like, have you seen Val Kilmer recently? He looks like... Well, he doesn't look good, let's just put it that way. He looks like me.
That's just like Carrie Oles.
Yeah, Carrie Oles. Remember when Carrie Oles was young and handsome? Now, what gang is this?
Carrie Oles is a Batman villain.
Well, here's a Clockwork Orange reference with the guys in the with the canes and the bowler hats. But what is this gang? The Mullet Gang?
The Ziggy Stardust gang.
Here's Coolio's cameo. Completely random Coolio cameo.
Coolio!
I don't know. Carrie Oles is a bat villain? I don't know. The Great White Shark. You got me. Who did Roddy McDowall play on the 60s series? The Librarian? Carrie Oles is the Librarian. Or Bookworm.
I mean, think about his humor, you know?
Like, maybe he could be a... Back in the day, he could have been a Riddler. I don't know. I don't think Carrie Oles is getting cast in any Batman movies now, is the point. And here's the spangly hairdo gang. Oh, no, it's a Motley Crue. That's who it is.
I like the way you work it. No diggity.
What's with the angel pattern on Batgirl's helmet there? Shouldn't it be a bat, not an angel? I'm just saying. Oh boy, it's one of those motorcycles that just make sparks for no reason. Oh man, I hate it when a bunch of people on motorcycles drive through my rave.
I like that there's green fire and shit.
It's completely absurd. This is not merely ridiculous. This is ridiculous. So this is like the same factory all those 80 heavy metal videos were recorded in. It's just a factory that makes sparks. It's all they do. And why were there barrels of glitter there? Is there a single surface in Joel Schumacher's Gotham that isn't covered in glitter?
I don't know.
So who put the time and effort in to make this tunnel look this way? Both in universe, and think about like the production designer, or the hours of work that went into making this completely redonkulous sequence. The stunt driving and the set design and the guy who had to paint everything and design it and hammer it together and stack those boxes there by that fire. Think about it. Think about the hours of hard labor that went into making fucking Batman and Robin.
All those people got paid.
True. But I don't know if they got paid enough. Whatever it was, it might not have been enough.
Especially since this like ruined the career of everyone involved.
George Clooney rebounded in time. It took him a while. But he has since had a successful acting career and directing career, won an Oscar. But yeah, Chris O'Donnell, Alicia Silverstone. Yeah, no, they kind of went nowhere after this. It took Arnold a while to come back. Arnold's really still trying to come back. And as I previously said, Uma Thurman isn't doing anything of interest unless she's working with Tarantino. So yeah, you're kind of onto something there. Really did destroy the majority of the actors' careers.
I mean, Chris O'Donnell is in a show now. One of the NCIS's.
Yeah, Los Angeles, I think. So he's on TV, and for a long time he wasn't on anything. Okay, so what just happened here? Batgirl...
The angel had fallen.
Oh, okay. Well, she almost falls off this dilapidated bridge. Robin reaches down to grab her, and he holds on to the surface by throwing his boot into a twisted middle bar that's sitting out of the edge of the bridge. I'm just saying, man, I don't think that would work. That clearly wasn't scientifically accurate.
You know what I really want to know about that?
What?
How they got the fuck back up.
It's a very good question. I mean, I know Robin is a former acrobat, and he's probably good at tumbling, but...
Now, did he say, swing back, swing forward, swing back,
Really?
swing forward?
Yeah, where's that deleted scene?
I mean, there's just some explanation needed there, orange-lipped Alicia Silverstone.
This whole master-servant thing, it's really ridiculous.
Yeah, her lipstick is kind of... Her lip gloss is kind of bright there. The things you notice in this movie when you watch it with a friend. And all our other friends on the internet listening right now. Thank you. Thank you, internet friends, for going on this journey with us.
Happy? You honestly don't know, do you? I was hiding the pain all the time.
It's always amazed me that they've never really gone with the idea of killing off Alfred in the comics, because it doesn't really matter what's happening. Batman's always, like, in his 30s, even though the character's been around since the 30s. But Alfred's always 20, 30 years older than him. And I believe they tried to kill him off at one point in the 60s before bringing him back. But I'm surprised the inevitable death of Alfred isn't something that comes up more often. Because he's an old dude.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's very insightful, JD.
I was having a cough spell. I wanted to try and stop it.
What's the purpose of the ice gun? Making a gun out of ice there, Mr. Freeze?
He's making a statue of his wife.
No, he just carved a gun out of ice.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, there's that, but a second ago, and if we weren't recording a commentary, I could rewind and freaking show it to you. He was carving a gun Out of ice. That's what it looked like to me. Whatever.
No, it was him starting to carve his wife.
It looked like a gun to me. Though apparently, Mr. Freeze, in addition to everything else, is an ice sculpture. Ice sculptor. Good for him.
Hey, Iceman, you got a visitor. Your sister is here to see you. Sister?
Sister?
Sister? Okay, now see, this cape is unwanted.
The thing that really ruins this get-up Poison Ivy is in right now is the red horns. The weird double beehive hairdo she's got going on. Because, again, the outfit doesn't really do any disservices to Uma Thurman. I never noticed the one security guard had a eye patch on before.
Yeah, neither did I.
What's his story?
We give you life, and we can take it away just as easily. I really am to die for.
Though I think this is a good evidence that this movie was made by a gay man, that this specific character, this specific interpretation of this character, is shown as the most irresistible woman in the world. It's almost as if it was made by a man who...
See that?
Okay, yeah, there was the Easter egg, the Riddler suit, and the Two-Face suit there in Arkham. Though why the heck would the Two-Face suit be in Arkham? Two-Face isn't in Arkham. Two-Face is dead.
Well, I'm most
It was just a cute Easter egg. So.
And like in the last movie, he fell into a pool of water. Who dragged Two-Face's dead body out of Gotham City Bay and pried the suit off of him?
Somebody with some free time.
I'm just saying, man. The Riddler suit made sense, since the Riddler is still in here somewhere in Arkham Asylum.
This is still technically the same continuity as the Burton films.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, why weren't there Easter eggs of, you know...
Probably because they just didn't think about it, because he didn't make the previous movie. But, again, there would be no reason for anything from the Joker or Penguin to be in Arkham, because they're not in Arkham. They're both dead.
Well, yeah, but maybe Arkham is also, like, saving stuff for the museum.
The Bat Villain Museum?
Why not? Quick sidestep here.
Oh, God.
Did you see on Flash this week where Barry looks at Captain Cold and says, "You and your rogues need to..."
Yeah, they made a reference to the Rogues Gallery.
And he's like, "Rogues Gallery, I like it."
Yeah, it was cute. It was a cute throwback on that show. That's a much better representation of the DC universe in media than this movie. Bringing it all back around. Also, would that work? Would that scene really, what's happening here right now?
Well, you see...
Does science back that up?
Well, you see, he's actually...
Why couldn't the Bane just punch through the wall?
You see, he's using the liquid nitrogen
Right, from his suit.
in his suit to spray out and freeze the pipes. So, when all of your pipes on your wall are frozen and they burst, the impact from the burst on a frozen wall freezes the wall too.
Why doesn't this fall kill them?
Because Poison Ivy, when you weren't looking, called up a giant plant monster to catch them and take them into the water.
Okay, I'm glad you explained
A
that.
seaweed monster.
A seaweed monster. Like from that one episode of Godzilla, the Godzilla Power Hour? The seaweed monster?
Right.
That's a bitchin' turtleneck Clooney is rocking there.
Oh, does that get your gears going too, that turtleneck?
No, it doesn't. I was just making a comment. We gotta talk over this whole movie. It was your idea to do this commentary.
I mean, I didn't realize this movie was that long.
I think we've got about a half an hour to go.
Oh, thank God.
That's something we should do someday. We should do a commentary on a public domain movie, like Night of the Living Dead or Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Oh, I meant to tell you.
Okay.
Because you kept telling me...
Totally interrupted
kept
me there.
Arguing me with...
Dick move.
Arguing with me on the fact that that there was a color version of Night of the Living Dead.
Well, there have been color versions released, but...
Or, I don't know. But anyhow, I found it.
Okay, yeah, it's out there.
I found the exact copy I was telling you about that has both the black and white version and the colored version.
Okay, well, the point I was making is, because those movies are on the public domain, we can actually release a sync commentary. It doesn't have to be just audio. We can actually, like, put video to it. If it's a public domain movie, like Plan 9 from Outer Space or Robot Monster. I think Robot Monster is public domain.
Well, I own Night of the Living Dead.
Well, yeah, but everybody's done that one. It's just a thought. If anybody is listening to this, shoot us some feedback on that. Great stems, though. Buds, too.
Huh?
Is this... the line there, they're talking about Poison Ivy's stems and buds. And I actually feel like Clooney's doing pretty well in that scene, the goofy comic relief scenes. He seems mostly miserable in this movie, but every once in a while there's a good moment. So I don't even remember, what was the master plan for Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze in this movie? They're going to freeze all of Gotham. Why?
Well, they're going to freeze all of Gotham so that the current life dies.
Okay, so then they can repopulate the Earth with Poison Ivy's plant monsters.
Right.
Imagine filming this, Arnold, in this makeup of a little... Who's the guy just off screen with the tube of mist pointing that downward? And one of the things, this is slightly off topic, but there was a movie called Kick-Ass, and there's a scene in it where you see a character suiting up as a superhero, and you actually see him putting on the shoe polish around his eyes. But you always see Batman. You can tell that he has something, a black paint around his eyes to complete the look. And I thought that was a nice touch in that movie. And something they should have done in the Nolan films. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just want to know, when are we going to get a Batman with the white irises on his suit? When is that going to friggin' happen? I know they did it in Dark Knight, but it was dumb how they did it. I believe this is Commissioner Gordon's one important scene in the film.
Yeah.
Just the Beast.
Oh, boy.
A 3-year-old could have written that one-liner. I think all the one-liner fuel went to Arnold in this one. I don't think they had anything left for the heroes.
Boot to the head.
Hey there, pretty birdie. Give yourself up. If you surrender to you.
That's like her shoals, her only power in this, just the love dust. And how convenient there was a bag of something there for Batman to fall on.
Isn't it like rock salt or something?
It's something ridiculous. I mean, I know the costume's pretty bad, but check out Uma's sexy walk there. That's a pretty good sexy walk.
I hate the red nails on the gloves.
There's a lot of
red fingertips or whatever.
There is a lot of questionable aesthetic decisions made in the designing of these costumes. No, evil woman, I won't be willed by your
here's
wily...
a good one-liner coming up.
I'm a lover, not a fighter. That's why every Poison Ivy action figure comes complete with him.
Was that the one-liner?
Yeah.
That wasn't a good one-liner.
Well, I didn't mean good. I meant...
But honestly, man, how can you deny the gay subtext in this scene where they are fighting against their attraction to this woman? They have to be gay to save the day, JD. They have to be. It's not like it's hard to see it, man.
Whatever.
So anyway, thanks for showing up that day, Mr. Pat Hingle. I'm sure you cashed a pretty decent paycheck there.
I agree.
Apologize for the couch sounds there.
I know, Zach had to move, guys. Sorry.
No, it was JD.
It was totally Zach. You know who to believe.
The fuck does that mean? Also, why is Bane's skin green?
Because the venom causes his skin to be green.
Well, gee whiz, that was a direct answer.
Living in the shadow of the big fat bat. You don't need it.
Listen to the frickin' music. You know, Danny Elfman did not do the score for this film.
I know, because there's no jaunty tuba.
It's true. It's true. Imagine an Elfman score for this shit. Unnecessary acts of violence against a snowman.
Jaunty tuba. Jaunty tuba.
Victim at the airport. Toxins introduced through the mouth. What are you talking about? Why do you think she's so...
Way to cock block, Bruce.
Poison kids? It's a real issue with women. You know that?
So does this movie.
Not you. Couldn't say that something was going to be mine. Now you're...
At this point,
Take
Batman
a
must
bath
be...
and some mint ice cream, you bitch.
At this point, Batman must be thinking, like, why do I even keep this guy around? Is he really helping me any? Exit! And there's the exit sign on the wall. Thanks, film. We didn't get that.
Where's your drink? I don't need your help. I'm going solo. What happened? How'd they get away?
You're worthless. You leave me nothing.
The look on his face. Oh, man. Clooney's embarrassed. He does not want to be in this movie. All he must be thinking is like, man, that paycheck. That paycheck.
I've never been good.
Yeah, but then you don't have to pay, like... If you ask him about the movie, he pays you $5 for it.
That is the rumor, that if you tell him that you saw Batman and Robin in the theaters, he will refund your ticket out of his pocket. That's a rumor. It's probably not true. I think the expiration date is passed on that, but...
Still, if I ever get to meet him, I'm totally trying it.
I don't think George Clooney runs in our circles, usually.
Okay, so you like the fur coat.
What about it?
Why would she have a fur coat? She's Mother Nature.
It could be faux fur.
There was nothing I
The glasses are bad, though. The sunglasses are bad.
You lie!
You lie!
Oh, this is where the tear runs down.
Okay, this is the scene where he has the snowflake tear. Yep, there it goes. There it is. I mean, like, in a less stupid movie, that could have been maybe genuinely touching, but in this film where, 5 minutes earlier you had Arnold cracking jokes about
Their blood will freeze!
their blood will freeze!
But why stop there? Why should only Batman and Robin die, while the society that created them goes unpunished?
That is some bad acting from Thurman right there. It's like, you can see a version of this movie where Poison Ivy is a genuinely threatening eco-terrorist, but it's just not this movie, man. The world!
So,
Did I ever show you the Batman and Robin musical clip that's on YouTube? Where Mr. Freeze is singing about Batman, you son of a bitch.
yeah, you showed me that.
Put the link to that in the description. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, okay, here's the bitchin',
The vampire,
the vampire Venus flytrap.
the succubus.
That was genuinely sort of clever. I wanted to see more of these things, man. I wanted to see more killer plant monsters in this movie.
For we will be the only
Or the succubus. Which one's better?
And evil. You distract the bat and bird. Villains are always smashing stuffs in their movie. What's up with that?
They always do it one-handed, too.
That's another thing with I always think about how in the first Batman, how the Joker kills Bob. It's like, did Bob have to die? He was loyal to you, man. That's effed up. Show some respect, Joker. So what's the plot here? Doesn't Alfred have the same disease as Mr. Freeze's wife? Isn't that?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the...
I don't remember what it is, man. Maybe if we'd been listening to the movie instead of talking over it, we'd know.
It's,
Not really important. It's just a MacGuffin to... McGregor syndrome. Thanks, Dick.
It's MS.
Don't push me, Dick.
Because I'm close to the edge, and I'm about to lose my head. Ha 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 ha. What?
Yeah, that's another thing this movie brings up that's sort of important. How does Bruce Wayne have free time for anything? He's got important Bruce Wayne shit to do, and when he's not doing that shit, he's being Batman or training to be Batman. How can he even hold down a relationship with anybody but Catwoman? I mean, that's why Catwoman makes the most sense as Batman's girlfriend, because they work the same hours.
I mean, I agree. I've always been a Catwoman and Batman shipper.
Well, there really aren't any other good girlfriends for Batman. I mean, I know there's Silver St. Cloud and Vicky Vale and a couple others,
And
but
Talia al Ghul.
well, yeah, there's Talia, but she's also a supervillain. You know, she's not a normal.
Yeah, because Catwoman. The reason Catwoman works is because she's not solely a villain.
Well, she's this anti-hero, morally gray anti-hero. So this is the second time I believe that Alfred has given somebody the keys to the Batcave. I know Bruce and Alfred have a long relationship, but at this point I feel like, I don't know, man, I kind of want to fire you. You keep letting people into the Batcave. Really wish you'd stop doing that.
Probably.
So I do believe the screenwriter has said that the original 89 Batman, was written during a writer's strike. And I do believe the original screenwriter has said, in his draft, Alfred did not let Vicky Vale into the Batcave. So what's the name of the tabloid journalist here they keep showing? Is she an important character at all?
Who?
Gossip Gertie, I believe is her name.
I don't know. I think that was just a character they made up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know it is. But she was in Batman Forever as well. Yeah, that one right there.
Yeah, Gossip Gertie.
Yeah. Man, the security at these Gotham City events are pretty lax. You'd think they would be better since the city's notorious for being full of murderous psychopaths.
I've always wondered, where does that big old fat light come from?
Nobody at any point says, I should not look away from this woman who's about to spray something in my face.
I just love to see it. But you probably don't have access.
Why, dear lady, I am the commissioner of the police. I have the keys right here in my pocket.
Thanks for screwing us on that one, Commissioner Gordon. Damn. Thinking we're off the wrong head.
Yeah, but the love dust, although it should be lust dust, because...
Lust dust. That sounds like something a stripper would put on their booties before they go out on stage.
Buddha, 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 rocket everywhere.
Who are you, dear lady?
On second thought, you're way too old for me.
No, I'm not.
Commissioner Gordon reminds me of Grandpa Munster in this movie.
Show me how the satellite.
There is a lot of purple in this film. Purple lighting everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a question I frequently ask. Where do the villains get their henchmen? Do they put an ad up on Craigslist?
I mean, duh.
Do they put an ad up on the dark web equivalent of Craigslist? Goons are us.
You know, they use the deep web.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
They use the dark web.
Same difference. Yeah, this reminds me of an episode of Batman and Robin, or of Batman the Animated Series, where Bane picks up the bat signal and throws it at somebody. And I'm pretty sure that happened in the comics as well. And I don't remember the issue number. There was always... there was a great cover where Batman was tied, crucifixion style, to the front of the bat signal. And I always wanted to see that in a movie. I always thought that was a pretty great image. Okay, this is something that annoys me about movies. When people make their covert internet passwords something that's on their desk.
Yeah.
To go off topic here, in Watchmen, when I believe it's Night Owl that's trying to get into Ozymandias' secret files, and he's like, and he looks over and there's a statue of Ramses or something, and he tries that and it works. And Ozymandias is supposed to be the smartest man in the world. You really fell through on that one, bro. Like moments like these, the quieter moments between Bruce and Alfred, I think are, from a traditional angle, probably the better moments in this movie. The only times this movie is trying to be something other than really silly.
Yeah, probably.
So who would win in a fight between Michael Caine's Alfred and Michael Goff's Alfred?
Michael Goss.
Really? What makes you say that?
Because, you know, Michael Caine, he was a younger, more spry Alfred. But Michael Goss is just, you know, you can just tell he ain't one to fuck with.
He's got the wisdom.
You know, yeah, he's just like, you know...
Though I'm pretty sure, wasn't Michael Caine a Royal Marine or something?
Well, sure, but we don't know that this Alfred wasn't.
Okay. I mean, it goes back and forth in the comics whether or not Alfred has any military history. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. You know, comics, they're always changing and shit, man.
Now, do you like that, since we're on that topic?
What, Alfred having a history as, like, a military guy?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I got nothing wrong with that.
Because I know some people that hate that.
I mean, he'd have to be pretty tough to put up with Bruce's shit. England, that's gonna work. God damn it, Barbara. You're smarter than that. Her thinking face. Okay, I mean, Silverstone is bad in this.
Okay, maybe.
This whole sequence is pretty freaking embarrassing.
She gets like, oh yeah, you just hit that button.
Access allowed. Also, why does typing that in bring up the schematics of everything in the Batcave? I had the same question in Batman Forever, where when the Riddler gets into the Batcave and he activates, like the safety feature is activated, and that causes everything to come out of its hiding place. Major design flaw there, Bruce. You're supposed to... You are canonically the second smartest person in the DC comic universe.
Who's the smartest?
Lex Luthor. Mr. Bane. Robin signal. There's no Robin signal. So did you, you know, I watched the first episode of Gotham, and they refer to a young Poison Ivy as Ivy, and that made me almost turn it off, because it's like, no, her name's not Ivy, it's Pamela. God damn it. Look it up on the frickin' Wikipedia, it's not hard. But we don't watch that show. I think the fact that you are like the biggest Batman fan I know and you don't even watch Gotham just really says how poorly written that program is.
I have a lot of problems with it. I could do a whole podcast on the problems I have with that show.
Yeah, let's not. Because, hey, there's still about 20 minutes left to Batman and Robin to get through, so...
Now, how do you know that?
I'm looking at the runtime on the recording program.
Okay.
And we're at 136 minutes, and this movie's... So we got about half an hour left.
You said that a half hour ago.
It was your idea to watch this, man.
Oh, I love this movie. I just didn't realize it was this long.
Maybe you
It's like different when you're talking about it.
trying to find interesting things to say about what's happening on screen.
Yeah, when really you just want to be like, why do you do this to your mother? I'm so sorry. I'm so happy your father's not here to see this.
You know, I really like
Put
that.
the cookie down.
I really like that Mr. Freeze's bombs are shaped like icicles.
Yeah, because why not?
That's a nice thematic approach there. Bomb!
That's what would be really impressive is instead of exploding in fire, they would explode in ice.
Yeah. Who'd win in a fight between this version of Bane and the Dark Knight Rises version of Bane?
The Dark Knight Rises version of Bane.
Pretty sure this Bane is stronger, though.
Yeah, but he's stupid.
Yeah, he's also an idiot. I was mostly being facetious with that question, if you couldn't tell.
I couldn't. Who would win? Who would win between this movie's version of Mr. Freeze and the Bataz version of Mr. Freeze?
Well, this version of Mr. Freeze is Arnold, so clearly he's gonna win.
I don't mean in a one-liner contest. I mean...
Well, speaking of one-liners, we just missed a great one. Tonight, hell will freeze. Damn, is she in the Batcave or a Prince video?
Both.
Did they? Well, they shot a Prince video in the Batcave, now that I think about it. That's what this movie's missing, a soundtrack by Prince.
That's the only way it can be gayer.
Hey man, don't besmirch the good name of the Purple Prince. Also, is that an effective security system? A face showing up and saying intruder alert? And I feel like there was a different version of this movie, a draft, somewhere in the writing process where Alfred really did die, and instead his brain in the Bat computer was...
OMAC?
Yeah, the way that version of the character survived. The heels on the Batsuit. Practical?
No.
There was a pretty nice booty shot there.
Oh, hello.
Hello, kitty.
Okay, now, the bat nipples on the Batgirl suit, that is ridiculous.
Because the bat nipples regularly just aren't ridiculous.
Well, I mean, they're ridiculous, but, like, that's just even more ridiculous. Like, how did they even get that away in, like, a PG-13 movie?
This movie is PG-13, and it seems impossible. Like, this really feels like a PG movie. I mean, you watch the Burton Batman films, and you wonder how they got a PG-13 because they feel like R-rated films, because they're just so dark and nasty, especially Returns. But this one, they're kids' cartoons. At some point, PG-13 just became the rating that blockbusters got. It's the money rating, you know? Because it says to the teenagers that this movie isn't for little kids, but it also says to the parents that they can take their little kids to see it.
Yeah.
I believe this is the only scene in the movie here where she uses her plant powers.
I hate the heart-shaped hair.
Her hair is really bad. And this is definitely the most ridiculous outfit she wears in this entire film. Series of turning over a new leaf. Wah, wah, wah.
Tell me your plan.
Kiss me and I'll tell you.
Tell me and I'll kiss you.
See, he has to overcome his straightness to save the day. Oh, and I believe he's wearing wax lips, yes?
Yeah. Rubber lips.
Rubber lips. Because everything in this movie is freaking rubber.
I hate to disappoint you, but rubber lips are immune to your charms.
Okay, so get ready for the rewind stop motion here.
Oh, yeah. That is a notorious moment for sure. And that just seems to suggest a massive amount of laziness on the filmmaker's behalf. My vines have a crush on you, sweet God. Why is those shitty one-liners gold in Arnold's mouth, but in Uma Thurman's mouth it just makes your skin crawl? Just the charisma of the actor, I guess, but yeah. Oh, that was bad. You're about to become compost. Jesus craminy.
Do you think feminine wiles get what you want, trading on your looks? Read a book, sister. That passive-aggressive number went out long ago. Chicks like you give women a bad name.
Somebody wrote these words, put them in a script, gave them to actors who said them in front of cameras. Oh, I know, it's so lazy. Like, would
And
it
I
have
think they do it again.
would it have been that difficult to film footage of Chris O'Donnell ducking in and out of the water? Why did they have to run it in reverse? It just really does suggest to me that the people making this movie didn't care about it. Or maybe they just forgot to put it in there. I don't know. It was a bad decision. One of many. Oh, that little penknife is going to protect you there, Ivy. Ugh. I think my tolerance for this film is running short. It's just anything to do with Batgirl is bad in this one. That's the worst stuff in this film. Especially since Barbara Gordon, Batgirl in the comics, is one of my favorite characters. And it's just not good here, man. It's not good.
Hold on, wait for it.
Okay, no, they didn't play it again, but...
Freeze get ice the city. I know.
Well, yeah, but it's still stock footage, though.
Yeah, it's just...
You see, what about that person or that woman?
First, it's me.
Batwoman's a different character.
Oh, her outfit is purple.
It's sort of a...
It's got, like, strings of purple in it.
I don't know, I think it is black and silver. It's just the lighting that maybe makes it look a little purple. Well, there is that Elfman theme. You don't hear it a lot in this movie, but there it is.
Oh, that one?
Well, you know the dun 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 do. This evening of classical music brought to you by the Bangers and Mash Show. So what's worse, the scene where Mr. Freeze is freezing the city in this, or the battleship, quote-unquote battleship game in Batman Forever? Which scene makes you cringe more?
I like the battleship scene in Batman Forever.
Isn't a dog in mid-pee frozen in this
Yeah.
sequence? Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, that's coming up right about... Not now. Hold on, it's coming up right
There
here.
it is. There's the
I
dog
knew it was coming.
in mid-freeze getting frozen. How are all these people not dead?
Well, because they have like an hour or something to...
That's ridiculous. If it instantly freezes you, you're dead, man. You would like get immediate hypothermia.
I'm just telling you.
It's almost as if this movie doesn't make any sense.
It's almost as if this movie is about fictional characters in a fictional world with fictional science.
Okay, so here are some more vehicles they could make toys of. I especially like Robin's wind sledge there. And of course now they're all wearing different armor. They're wearing ice versions of their traditional bat armors.
We have less than 11 minutes to fall the city.
And it's a well-known piece of trivia that the helmet she's wearing right now was originally supposed to be the Batgirl mask, but for some reason they wanted Alicia Silverstone's hair to run, so they just gave her the Domino mask and ditched the cowl, but then they recycled it as the helmet in this scene. There's some fucking trivia for you.
I mean, I kind of like the cowl better.
It doesn't look good, but that's because the whole costume looks pretty bad. Also, no reference to that epic backflip she just did there. Do you remember the name of this vehicle Batman is in right now?
Oh, it's like the Bat Sled or something.
It's the Bat Hammer.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I remember. I don't know why I remember that. I remember that from the stupid toy commercials.
It seems like, jetpack or, jet-propelled vehicles on ice was a bad idea.
Because the heat from the jet would melt the ice. Right?
Well, aside from that, like, sheer speed alone. Like, there's no way they'd ever be able to stop.
Also, that is some hella long cords there on those battling hooks.
Well, you see, they have access to the cord space.
The cord space.
Inside the gun, so...
Maybe you melted.
Though it is nice that they all coordinated their costumes to be black and silver here. Because if you're going to be fighting crime in the snow, you want it to go. You want it to match, Also, it's amazing that Barbara has had no training whatsoever, and already she's swinging into action and doing all this Batgirl shit.
Wow, those are some impressive heaters.
I hope you got about 10 million more.
If this movie was about a half an hour shorter, I think it would be more manageable. Because it just... At this point, I'm really getting fucking tired of Batman and Robin, man. I'm ready for this movie to end.
Like I said, I think if we weren't talking about it...
No, it would still be bad.
Those targeting mirrors are frozen. That fine beam won't work.
All right, I'll set the telescope cube on the mirror.
Here's some thick technobabble here. Hey, you want to experience teenage girl? Here's a fucking laser. Good job. I'm beginning to think that Bruce is nowhere near as smart as people think he is.
In this movie, anyway.
Yeah, really.
Tonight's forecast. A freeze is coming.
A freeze is coming. God bless that man. I remember there being some... Well, there was a very nice zoom there. I remember this sequence being ridiculous, where they're falling off of the telescope tower. Like just the scene composition is bad,
Yeah.
Bad dialogue right there. I mean, most of the dialogue in this movie is bad, but when you combine the bad dialogue with a bad actor like Alicia Silverstone, it becomes doubly bad. I know, the feet hook. Just, who thought that was a good idea, man? Ah! Clooney's stunt double was well paid, I hope.
Hang on. Hang on.
Does it just show how much of a friggin' psychopath I was as a kid that I was so disappointed in this movie that none of the major villains died? Like, Mr. Freeze lives, Poison Ivy lives, they're both in prison at the end of the movie. And I guess...
yeah, because at least one villain dies in every movie up until...
Well, I mean, it can be assumed that Bane passes, because he is left inside of the tower when it collapses. However, they never really... Like, nobody directly kills Bane. And I don't know, I guess I was just so used to action movies at the time where the bad guy dies at the end, even though it's pretty out of character for Batman to do that. Again, seems like a design flaw, having that big tube there where people could kick it off.
Yeah, but that's like right out of the comics.
It's true. And Bane is usually defeated that way. I really hate the jokey scientists. It's a bad moment. Because the rest of this is really good. The heat is on.
And the Batman's like, ow! You know, he just knocked out the power core for the whole...
Oh, I know, it's just... I really just get the impression that even though this was a really expensive, big-budget studio film, that the script was written in like a week, you know? I don't feel like a lot of work went into the screenplay.
Well...
And the ridiculous part is I know that's not true, because any movie that's this huge goes through at least, 10 screenplay drafts. So a lot of effort went into writing this, and yet the movie is still like this.
Just think of what the original draft was.
Oh, I know, my God. Better or worse, we'll never know. I think not! Bombs away, Batman. So, is gravity just lighter in Gotham City? Because it sure does seem like people can just toss themselves up into the air with minimum effort.
Yeah, right? They totally left that guy to die.
Well, people debate to this day whether or not the end scene in Batman Begins is in character or not, where Bruce says to Ra's al Ghul, I don't have to kill you, but I don't have to save you either.
I think it's allowed because Ra's al Ghul is perfectly capable of saving himself. I mean, he's essentially an evil Batman.
Well, we're getting off topic, but... Oh man, this is bad. This is not a good moment we're having right here.
Need a lift? Trust me, guys, that's coming up. Thank you for leaving us stranded on this mountain, Batman.
Oh, need a ride, is what he said.
Same difference.
They even suck at writing their own one-liners.
I know, it should have been need a lift.
It should have been, totally. You dropped the ball there, Clooney.
It's midnight. The telescope's gone. There's no way to solve the city.
Satellites could be positioned to solve the city directly, but that take a computer genius. I'm on it.
No, I'm on it.
No, let's get an actual genius to do it. To this day, I still don't know if people who write screenplays in Hollywood know what computers do.
Pretty good, this little girl.
Well, watch and learn, little boy.
Now, don't take this the wrong way, listeners, but I think this movie really does push the whole girl power thing a little too hard in a way that becomes distracting. I'm all for strong female characters, and we need more of them in major films, but it's cartoonish and goofy the way Batgirl has to outclass everybody.
Well, I think it's a play on the 1966 Batgirl. I mean, it's nowhere near as good, but it's a play on it.
Because Alicia Silverstone is no Yvonne Craig.
In no shape or form.
But
But anyhow.
Oh, they don't. I thought they showed the dog shaking the ice off.
It's gonna happen.
Oh, it's gonna happen. Okay. Also, I think it would take slightly longer than this to thaw everybody out. Okay, there it is. Does the dog finish his pee?
Would you?
If it was that cold out and I was a dog and I didn't care if people saw me peeing, yes.
Oh god, that cow is even worse than I remember. What's with the big fucking silver spots right on the back of the neck? Like, what the service? What purpose does that serve?
What purpose does any of the armor in this movie serve?
I didn't kill your wife.
I also love how his recorded footage here is from the perspective of a movie camera, not from like a security camera.
They're Batgirl's titty cams.
The worst part is I know that's not even like the third most offensive thing we've said on this podcast. We were supposed to be classier than this, listeners. In my brain, the show is a lot more classier than this.
Vengeance is the power anyone can take a life. To give life. That's true power. Power you once had.
And really, it's rich, this coming from Bruce. Him talking about vengeance and not taking a life. Since this is technically the same character that Michael Keaton played, that was gunning down goons with the machine guns and the Batwing.
Show me how you cure McGregor's syndrome in stage 1. And maybe you can also save the life of the man your wife once lost. Still inside me, Victor. Buried. Deep beneath the snow.
Oh, buried beneath the snow. Oh, man. That's bad.
But shouldn't there be some kind of, like, you know, atmospherical consequences to them shifting the sunlight and shit?
Probably. There probably should be.
Because this is like 1 a.m.
Yeah. It's a good... What about the people on the other side of Gotham who didn't get freeze? Or who are just like, what the hell is going on? Why is the sun out? I'm only just laid down.
Right?
Also, isn't it convenient that Mr. Freeze has the cure right there in the gauntlet of his suit?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's convenient storytelling, but I think that fits within his character. Just because that's what he's working on to save his wife. So,
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's cheesy as hell, but it's recent. Take it or leave it.
I mean, the whole movie.
Why is this juice like luminescent?
Because that's how people in the audience knows that it works. That's how they know it works, because if it glows, it must be good, right?
Right.
Wait, I know why the Batsuit has nipples in this movie. Because it's cold outside.
No, it's summertime, remember?
Well, it's cold because Mr. Freeze was doing his thing.
It had bad nipples before that.
So what is the internet thing at this end here where Mr. Freeze is locked in a jail cell with Poison Ivy? Is the Tumblr crowd upset about this? They would be if they cared about this movie.
Surprise. I'm your new cellmate.
I'm your new cellmate.
And I've come to make your life a living hell. Prepare for every harvest.
Winter has come at last. Wow, Uma looks strung out in that scene.
We know, we've seen her strung out in another movie.
Yeah, a couple other movies. So this movie's almost over.
What the fuck did you just shoot me with? How long is this movie?
Well, let's see. We're at 2 hours now. In fact, a little more, I think. Yeah, we're at 2 hours now. So this is what happens to Wayne Manor when Alfred isn't around to clean and fix food and shit. Also, Wayne Manor is huge. Is Alfred the only help they have working there? Alfred and Aunt Harriet?
I'd love to see Aunt Harriet in a movie, just throwing that out there. Because, technically now she's in the comics, so...
She's been on and off in the comics for years. But, surely there are other people who work at Wayne Manor, right? I mean, Alfred isn't the one who does all the work. And that makes it even harder to believe that nobody but a select few people know Bruce is Batman. If he has a whole group of cleaners and maids and gardeners working at Wayne Manor... And it's so fucking easy to stumble onto the Batcave.
I believe I'm the one who kicked Ivy's botanical butt.
Botanical butt.
I did it all by myself. That was me.
You are going back to school.
She never even win this argument.
Clooney is doing a Mr. Belvedere thing here. You are going back to school, young lady.
Partners?
And you're going to eat your vegetables on time, too.
Well, I don't really normally like to throw women into my threesomes, but what the hell?
Wait. Threesomes, does that imply that Alfred's the third wheel? Because you just made that way creepier. Also,
No, Jason Todd.
Oh. Wow, okay, so... That's Batman and Robin, folks. Here's the final scene, the dramatic run towards the camera. Yep. So, while the end credits are playing, I want to hear you do a final defense of this film.
It's entertaining,
Is
to
that-
say the least.
Is that all?
Well, I mean, this movie is not a great movie.
Jeep Swinson played Bane, right there.
This movie's not a great movie by any standards. But, you get 2 hours of Arnold dropping insane one-liners. And if nothing else, you get your money's worth there.
That's a good point. You can't really underestimate the entertainment value of Arnold dropping one-liners. By the way, Julie Madison was the name of Elle Macpherson's character, Bruce's egregiously unimportant love interest. What do you think of this Smashing Pumpkins song to play over the end credits? A lot of people agree that this is the best thing to come out of this movie.
I mean, I like this Smashing Pumpkins song.
So, if this film had not been so negatively received, how do you think that that fifth film would have been? Batman Triumphant with Howard Stern as the Scarecrow, Madonna as Harley Quinn.
I don't know about Madonna as Harley Quinn, and if it was Steve Buscemi as the Scarecrow,
Yeah.
I would have been all over that.
Yeah, he would have been great, but I think both, I know Nick Cage was considered, and I think Travolta was considered as well, and both of those would have been fairly terrible.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, if Cage went like full Cage.
But Buscemi would definitely would have been great in the part. And who would you have cast as Harley Quinn in 1998 or 99, whenever that movie would have been made? Was Gina Davis still attractive at that point? I don't know.
She wouldn't have pulled that. She couldn't have pulled that off.
I don't know, but we obviously will never know because it didn't get made. Schumacher promised that that film would have been a return to the darker tone of the first two films if they would have let him do it. But who's to say? We'll never know. 'Tis a mystery.
I hate the thought of Harley Quinn being the Joker's daughter, though.
That would have made it weird, right? She is the Joker's lover in every other media.
Yeah.
That would have made it kind of weird. But you can't have that because, in this continuity, Joker's dead. Dropped off of a building. I hate this song, by the way. The Smashing Pumpkins songs isn't bad, but the
Let's
smooth...
Gotham City.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad, man. Gotham City!
Alright, should we do the sign-off?
Oh, absolutely. If you've listened all the way through this, I actually think this went better than our previous three commentaries.
Yeah.
A little more focused, a little more on point, and less distracting noise from the outside world. If you want to contact the Bangers and Mash Show, you may email us at bangersandmash88@yahoo.com. It's the word bangers, it's the letter N, it's the word mash, it's the number 88@yahoo.com. We're on Facebook at www.facebook.com/thebangersandmashow. I'll put the link in the description so you can get to us. Comment, like, subscribe on YouTube. I'm on Twitter, @LastMonsterKid. I'm still pimping my book there. I published a book on the Amazon Kindle Marketplace back in June. It's called Last of the Monster Kids. It's a collection of short horror stories. Please buy it. Please buy it. And also, I have a movie review blog. I'm wrapping up a retrospective of the James Bond series right now. That's at www.zacksfilmthoughts.blogspot.com. That's ZACKS filmthoughts.blogspot.com. And if you didn't get all that, I'll put all those links in the description. The reason I'm telling you all of this is because our commentaries tend to have a slightly wider reach than our regular episodes. And if you have never listened to an episode of the Bangers with Mash show before, and you enjoy this, please tune in for our regular episodes, which are much more concise and focused than these very silly slapdash commentaries. And that was the Batman and Robin logo, and I believe we are done here. You have anything to say, Mr. Mash?
Just chill with the Bangers and Mash show.
That's right, chill out.